Team presents.
Welcome all to another episode of the Jokatech podcast. As you know, so many things have been going on in recent times. I wasn't sure if I wanted to make a podcast at this time or not, but just wanted to discuss a few things. I'm not going to get into meaningless topics at this time. I just want to get into weighty matters and things that are going on in the world of sports. One thing, as many have heard, is the passing of somebody who is just an inspiration to me in so many ways. If you follow my career, you know that Kobe Bean Bryant was the intricate part of what inspired a lot of what I do. You've seen it from music videos to records that I've made in the past where I constantly reference him, and even as an athlete, I just wore his number as a rookie myself, the number 8, and the thing about him that made it really impactful, really something that really affected me is it wasn't a celebrity passing to me. I've never really bought much into the celebrity concept. I never really idolized, because I always saw that as a negative thing. And so growing up as a kid, I loved Michael Jackson. And I loved Michael Jackson as a true fan. I had some of his early albums, some of his later albums. Like many, I emulated him as a child. And I was actually looking forward to the This Is It tour when he announced it. And then when he suddenly passed unexpectedly, that really shook the whole world, and it shook me. And that was the time that I actually contemplated playing another season of football as a tribute to him, which I started and played through the preseason, played up to the preseason, but didn't start the season due to circumstances outside of my control. But that's how moved I was by what happened with Michael Jackson. But still, while it was a very heart-wrenching situation, I didn't really break down. I just kind of froze in place, kind of in disbelief. I just froze in disbelief. I didn't know how to process it at the time. It was unreal to me, and similar to this, just unreal. But the difference in this is the one where this brought me to tears. This one really touched me the most, and it's not because of the celebrity status or the fact that he was a sports figure that I liked more. It's not about what I liked more. I felt it. I felt him more. One of the reasons why, he was really impactful to me is not because of the way he was as an athlete, but the way he attacked life. I'm a sports person. I'm an athlete. But if you know me, music and art mean more to me than sports. But still, the reason why Kobe's passing brought me to tears and not Michael Jackson's is because it wasn't about sports. He attacked life with a kind of passion that I relate to. He was always absorbing every single moment. If you know me, that's the way I am. I'm always trying to grow and expand and make the most out of every single second. And that's the way he was. He emulated that in everything he did, even after retirement. He's always looking to expand himself in one way or another. And to lose somebody like that really hurts. Because that doesn't come along at all anymore. Nor often. That drive, you don't see that anymore. I definitely related to that. That's one of the things that always drew me to him as a person. He was driven. He was driven. And he was progressive. He was always trying to reinvent himself. Same as Miles Davis. That's the reason why I emulate Miles. I don't mimic. The same way Kobe didn't mimic Jordan. There's just certain people's energy you gravitate to. And the thing about this that a lot of people are reflecting on is the importance of time, making the most of things, and letting go of the negative things. It's teaching me not to allow myself to be absorbed. I mean, a lot of things I'm going through, betrayal, wickedness, just self-doubt. Certain things that can make you really kind of re-question how you view life and people. I'm learning not to let that reshape me. Don't let that blight who you are as a person. Because in the end, you're going to regret dedicating yourself to any kind of negative energy. Because you only get one shot. Now, in the world of football, there's a lot of discussion about Eli and his potential Hall of Fame induction. Now, this hasn't even come to fruition yet, but the discussion is, should he be in the Hall of Fame? And people are speaking as if he's already been enshrined.
Mile for a raid.
You have a lot of people, including Stephen A. Smith and many players, former and present, that are in a rage that Eli should even be considered for the Hall of Fame, even though he has two Super Bowl championships, 2 MVPs. And it's funny because early in his career, up until his last few years, his numbers were decent. When he lost the squad and supporting cast that he had, his numbers dwindled. There's no mystery. That's nothing new. But still, career 500 record, sure, whatever. Nobody wants to talk about touchdown to interception ratio or quarterback rating because those stats will kind of hurt their argument. But my thing is this. Now there's a report today. Deion Sanders feels that it's too easy to get into the Hall of Fame. And so now people are piggybacking off of that and using that to argue Eli is the reason. Eli is one of the main culprits. And my thing is this. I agree with the sentiment that Deion Sanders is coming with. I've said that years, decades ago, before Eli was even considered championship caliber, before he was even in the league. I said people get into the Hall of Fame for almost nothing. For years I said this. Nobody agreed. Everybody felt like, no, it's a sacred place and you got to be great in order to get into the Hall of Fame, right? There was a football player, you may know of him, by the name of Broadway Joe Namath. You may have heard of him. He made something that some people are aware of called the guarantee. I know everyone will act stupid now, but we all remember the guarantee. 1969 or whatever, when he guaranteed they'd win a championship, and then he went forth, they had a solid season, and they won his one and only ring. Go look up Joe Namath and look up his stats. Go look up his career stats and his quarterback rating right now, and tell me what you see. But everybody remembers him as a great Hall of Famer, first ballot, hands down. Nobody questions and argues that, right? But we're all about stats and logic, right? We're all historians of the game. But none of us argue that he should be in the Hall of Fame. Go look at the several. See, people want to bring up the obvious names. They want to bring up Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. That's easy. What about all those tight ends and running backs and other people that were just ironmen and journeymen in the league for a long time, or they played during a time where it was about playing for a cause or whatever? What about all those people that got enshrined? There's no complaints whatsoever. Back when I was saying that the Hall of Fame needs to be about elite athleticism on the field, everybody felt like the Hall of Fame was fulfilling that criteria. Now that Eli is in question to go into the Hall of Fame, all of a sudden there's an uproar. See, there's proof that there's something wrong with the criteria. But no one's going to go back and say that people before don't belong there. It's just that Eli doesn't belong there. That's where my problem comes in. I agree with what Dion is saying, but Dion is not saying that to target Eli. He's saying that because there's a lot of players in general that get in too easily, and it's true. Now, I'm not sure I would put Eli in that category because I remind you, his quarterback rating above average, touchdown to interception ratio above average. He had solid seasons. He may not have been the 1-2 in the league during his career, but there were certainly times where he was seen as a quarterback to be respected, especially around the championship years. But we forget that now because time has passed and because his career declined. You're only as good as your last season because people have short memory. But for some reason, because Broadway Joe made the guarantee, and he talked a big game, and he was flamboyant, and he was always in the media. He had a loud personality. He was a first ballot, and we all remember him as a transcendent quarterback. But Eli brought 2 rings to New York, both against Tom Brady. And regardless of whether you want to attribute the defense to those championships, he outplayed Brady in both of those games. Period. The Brady that you all worship, he outplayed him. And he outplayed him when it counted. Through the playoffs, through the Super Bowl. But we're going to discard all of that because we're going to go off of the fact that he wasn't a loud person, he wasn't flamboyant, and he finished his career in mediocrity because he didn't have a supporting cast. Now, how can you talk like that and consider yourself somebody that knows the game? You know, it's just like they do with boxing. Everybody will say, oh, absolutely, Mike Tyson? Sure, first ballot Hall of Famer. Ask yourself why you say that. Teddy Atlas did a piece on Mike Tyson some time ago where he spoke about Mike Tyson's career and the argument that he never actually won a fight, which had very valid arguments in it. Now, I love Mike Tyson as a person, but when I speak the truth and when Teddy Atlas speaks the truth, they think that it's hate. Go back and look at his resume. Mike Tyson never beat a legit, meaningful opponent. He beat up on journeymen, and he lost every meaningful fight that he had. He lost both fights to Evander. He lost to Lennox, couldn't even beat McBride. But he beat up journeyman, and so he's remembered as being a great, easy first ballot Hall of Famer. Why? It has nothing to do with stats. He was in the media, he was loud, he was imposing, and so everyone remembers him for that. Lost to Buster Douglas, but everybody remembers him for he was an imposing figure. They constantly gave him a pass for every loss. And he's easily a hands-down Hall of Famer. You see where people get their arguments from? You don't know the sports. Everything they say is based on emotion. They feel a certain way. They like somebody for a certain reason. Somebody stands out and pops off the page to them, and so they go off of that. They don't go off of actual accomplishments. Eli was never loud. He was never somebody that was in the media's face and very exposed, etc. So therefore, now neither did he play like his brother. His brother was very consistent. His brother was a team elevator. And I'm not going to argue that that's what Eli was. But he was clutch when he needed to be. And he has the freaking rings to show it. I remember the shock that everybody had when he started playing to his potential around the time that they started to be regular in the playoffs. Everybody started saying, wow, we didn't know Eli had this in him. Because for years, he was quiet. He didn't really know how to seal the deal when it came to games that mattered. And then he started blossomed in the middle of his career, and it led to 2 championships. And now we're going to rob all of that away because of his personality and because of how he finished his career. If you're going to do that, you don't deserve to call yourself an analyst. You're an idiot. You're a layman. And this is the stuff that makes me lose respect for commentators. When they sit down, I don't care if you're a former athlete. I don't care who you are. When you sit down and you make arguments like that, you invalidate your entire opinion. And that's something that I definitely had to speak on because it needs to be said. I don't think anybody's going to step forward and defend Eli's cause because the world is full of stupid idiots. Nobody's going to step forward and say, well, you have a few people. See, Max Kellerman's defense is not much of a defense. It's more so, okay, I agree with the argument, but then nobody should be in the hall. My thing is this. I agree with the argument that Dion made as well. And I do agree that many people get in too easily. I'm not going to heap Eli at the top of that list. That's not accurate. No, he's not a Tom Brady. No, he's not a Drew Brees. But you don't have to be. And I'll stand by those statements with Eli. That's just what it comes down to. Getting back to my initial statement about the inspiration that Kobe was, I got to finish off on the note of just saying, you have to cherish what's here now. Cherish people. I mean, I don't really think about or really care what my legacy is perceived as. I don't expect it to be appreciated ever. The most important thing to me is making it and leaving it the way that I want to leave it. But aside from that, I look at guys like LeBron, that I always call LeBron Big Brother, figures like that. He has that drive. He's cut from that same cloth. Appreciate him now. See, it's easy to cast negativity on somebody just to build somebody else up. Ever since this happened, ever since this tragic loss, all you hear is disparaging of LeBron in the media. Not the media per se, but the public. Talking about how LeBron is not this, he's not that. And I don't know why, but people feel the need to do that in order to celebrate Kobe. They feel like they need to tear down a contemporary in order to build one up. I don't know why they feel that goes hand in hand, but what you have to do is appreciate LeBron now. Like Shaq was saying, you never know. You never know. Don't take things for granted while they're here. You're not going to see, like I said in the beginning, people like Kobe any longer. People with that drive, with that passion. I relate to it. I know people like that are like dinosaurs now. When I exhibit the drive that I have and the vision that I have with a lot of the things I do, it's archaic. It's misunderstood. A lot of the things that I've done, it's either they will or won't be revisited years later, but they definitely won't be understood in this time. And I understand that. The bottom line is, LeBron's cut from that cloth too. He has that same drive, that same passion. Appreciate him now while he's here. Appreciate that career. You will not see that again. You'll see people that are effective at their craft. You're not going to see the innovative dynamos. You're not going to see the people that are visionaries beyond just their sport. That's gone. So make the most of it now. He's a vestige of what Kobe represented. And he's probably one of the last ones. So appreciate people now. Dear Brett, I think you played your best last year. In New York when you were slipping on the turncoat shit. If you come back, I know you'll hold it down for a while. And I like the way you lost around well with a smile. It's a signature for cheese in the New York schools, but if I have a son, I hope he quarterbacks like you. You and Peyton are amazing with delays like arms. Even when you lose a major, write your name in my palms. Dear Barry, the world never loves a supernova. You gave him 700 and they said that it was over. They never understand when a gift is God-given. They crucify you, plus they want to lock you in a prison. What an honor just to watch you bomb a hole in the sky. All you wanted was a ring and they be feeding you lies. All the numbers and the prospects will never be the same. Before the millennium, they were feeling your game. You are a victim of collusion, political confusion, accused of needing juice by a loser institution. They say it's only the greats that belong in the hall, and they feel like hypocrites without your name on the wall. Dear Kobe, this is your fan Jace from New York. I understood your words even before you used to talk. I shot a video showing you flying through the air. I even used to rock the same afro in my hair. When I played, I made my rookie number 8 like you, but they never got to see that I was great like you. All the fake ones cursed your name in the streets, but you was at them court cases. You beat the charges and threw a ring up in their faces. You can see the face of a fan and how their face slips. Quick to jump a rhythm but feeling just how the bass is. Quick to hit percussions where the melody is faceless. When I used to bash you, I stormed out of the basement. Now they love your game, kid, comparing you to Michael, but your art is what you make it. The ones that never had it find it the hardest to take it. Dear love, I guess I'm just like you. When I'm running, I imagine it's the time that you flew. Whenever I get a standing ovation from the crowd, I can see you in the rhythm section telling me how. I have no limitations, so I guess you can't either. The more I explore, the more we're ebony ether. Fidelity eating through speakers until the world dies. Clutching the fist to the moon, I scream, why? Rap. We started in this game way back. LPs and make CDs I built from scratch. Batch upon batch, mastered the facts and gave back. I digress forever because I know it's crap. I seen a black king wrestle for his life in the zoo. We all gotta fall, son. What about you? Symbolism. Can you see art as the victim? Decipher my lines and you can see a young man's wisdom. Art is the heart I betrayed to the fans. I crawled away from Asia with mouths black as my hands. I never built my home with sticky ships, man. Yeah, you put your soul in this rap. I'm just a fan.